Hello, everybody, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and the news does not stop today as we are 9 days away from what is, I'm calling at least, the Christmas of the NFL offseason, that being the NFL draft. We got some Steelers news, Pittsburgh Pirates news as well. They're about to get underway in the second game of their series against the Washington Nationals here in under an hour. Sprinkle in a little bit of Penguins news. That makes for an exciting show here today. If you're new here, please be sure to like and share this stream. Comment in the live chat. I enjoy very much interacting with you fine folks. Excuse me. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I upload a video or become live. So we are here today talking about some more Shedeur Sanders to the Pittsburgh Steelers rumbling with their pick in the first round. Some actual Aaron Rodgers news, I guess, if you want to call it new news, from Adam Schefter on possibly a new deadline for Aaron Rodgers to sign with the Steelers. Steelers also have officially completed 29 of their top 30 visits with one more to go, and it has already been reported. So that part of the pre-draft process pretty much all wrapped up. Also, Pirates news, how they did last night, what they look like here for today's game, and some breaking this morning, exciting news on Sidney Crosby still being the best in the NHL today. We're going to start things off right away with the Shedeur Sanders news today. So we're, like I said, now T-minus 9 days until the NFL draft, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they could go a lot of directions with their first overall pick. Some of us, me included, still think the pick will ultimately be on the defensive line. Some could say it could be a wide receiver if you want to add just a third great weapon to DK Metcalf and George Pickens. Maybe a running back if Omari and Hampton's there. But one particular player, if he is available, I think right now you can write it in pen if he's there at 21, will be a Pittsburgh Steeler. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Last week, Sanders was in Pittsburgh for a pre-draft visit, and now all anyone is talking about is his meeting with the Steelers and him potentially being there for the Steelers to take. I want to start today with new ESPN NFL analyst Peter Schrager, moved over from Good Morning Football to ESPN. He, on the Pat McAfee show today, said that the Steelers' visit with Sanders lasted 5 hours, and that Sanders got to walk around the facility, meeting with head coach Mike Tomlin, of course, and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Another draft analyst in Todd McShay said similar things, adding that Tomlin is, quote, a big fan of Sanders, and if he were available at pick number 21, he would likely be the choice. Also, yesterday I said I would be completely and totally shocked if Sanders fell past the New Orleans Saints, whose quarterback Derek Carr may miss the season with a new shoulder injury. I said I would be shocked if he falls past them, but the perfect storm for that to happen may be brewing, as NFL insider Diana Russini posted this morning that she's hearing the Saints are determined to draft a quarterback, but not necessarily at pick number 9. They could look for another option, maybe like a Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart in the second round. Who knows? But they're not entirely sold on spending the number 9 overall pick on a quarterback. However, the New York Giants, it was reported today by Mike Garafolo, will be having a private workout with Shedeur Sanders, and they currently hold the number 3 overall pick. So not completely and totally out of the woods with that scenario happening either. Now, I know it's lying season in the NFL right now. Pretty much every single NFL team wants these big insiders with a camera and a microphone to put word out on a bunch of things about a bunch of prospects. They want these guys and ladies to say, we don't like this player, even though they do. We like this player, even though they don't. We want you to say that this player has this one particular flaw that is uncoachable and will have them out of the league in 5 years, even though they desperately want that player to fall down a couple of draft spots and then they can get their hands on them. Yeah, I lost my train of thought here. But on one hand, I see the Steelers, they didn't go to Colorado's Pro Day to see Sanders, and they only recently showed a ton of interest in them. So that is telling me that this is a smokescreen. On the other hand, we all know that Mike Tomlin loves players who have talent and moxie and charisma. Now tell me, listening to those three things that Mike Tomlin likes, what other player, more specifically, what other quarterback in this draft class has those three things other than the literal offspring of one of the most charismatic players in NFL history, Deion Sanders? My final prediction on this is that I think Tomlin legitimately loves Sanders and will be pounding the table for the Steelers to take him at pick 21 if that's the case. He probably thinks that this greatness that Deion Sanders had in the NFL is genetically encoded in Shedeur. Coach T and Deion have a ton of respect for each other. Shedeur said after the meeting with the Steelers that he sees a lot of his dad in Tomlin in the way that they coach. And so with all that, it would only be fitting if Sanders is the Steelers quarterback come next Thursday. If the correct scenarios play out, and regardless of how the Aaron Rodgers saga ends, the Steelers will probably say F the 2026 quarterback draft class, even though it might be better, and they'll push all their chips in on what really could be, a very high risk, high reward selection in Sanders. I'm interested into hearing what all of you have to say on the matter. I'm starting to like the idea of it more and more. You need a quarterback who's accurate and will throw over the middle of the field. Maybe you can work with him to get the sacks and the risk throws out of his ball game, because that's probably the biggest pet peeve that Tomlin has with Sanders. But I mean, I kind of like the idea of saying, hey, this kid, he comes from a football background. His dad is one of the best to ever play the game. And he's been in a NFL lifestyle, living an NFL lifestyle in locker rooms, on the field, off the field, taking care of his body, studying the game all his life. So, and also the Steelers, they love their bloodlines as well. You had, brothers here for, the past handful of years with the Steelers. You had TJ and Derek Watt. You have right now Cam and Connor Hayward. You had you had two of the three Edmonds brothers in Terrell and Trey at a time. Nate and Nick Herbig. Nate now backing up down in Washington, D.C. So Steelers love their bloodlines. They love players with NFL pedigree and family members who are in the NFL. So Shedeur Sanders probably very high on the Steelers draft list as of right now. Now, moving from one potential quarterback option for the Steelers next year on to another, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Now, after about a week now of little to no mention or talk whatsoever about Aaron Rodgers, we now at least have something. Since he didn't appear at the Pat McAfee big night at last week, all of us have been wondering, what's the next step in this saga? Well, on the pod today, with the Pat McAfee show's Ty Schmidt, ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter talked a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers and gave us an idea of what the next deadline could be. I have his exact quote right here, which says, well, here's what I would say. Again, as we tape this Tuesday morning, I think we are entering the critical stretch for Aaron Rodgers' final decision about whether or not with the Pittsburgh Steelers he will sign, whether or not to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, And I say that because of this, Ty. The Pittsburgh Steelers' voluntary offseason workout program begins next week. And if Aaron Rodgers decides that he wants to play in Pittsburgh with new teammates, new receivers, new coaches, and a new offense in a new city, I would think that he would want to be there, boots on the ground from day one of the offseason program, so he could be on the field. Now, he could put this off more and wait longer. Sure, you could do that. It's not like it's a hard deadline. But if you're going to be going into a new situation, don't you want to give yourself the best chance to get acclimated to everybody and everything with your power and everything within your power when the offseason workout program begins? And don't you want to be there for the entire offseason program unless you have some trip planned to Egypt or the Middle East or some other trip that we don't know about? So to me, we're entering a period here over the next week where I kind of think that we might hear something from Aaron Rodgers. After that, Schefter continued talking about the Steelers probably wanting to hear an answer as soon as possible before this program begins, and more importantly, before the draft in 9 days. At this point, I think the speculations of Rodgers and Mike Tomlin and the Steelers having some sort of under the table secret handshake agreement, I think that that's all BS right now, because sort of piggybacking off of what Cam Hayward said on his podcast a couple of weeks ago, if Rodgers really wanted to be a Steeler, he'd be in Pittsburgh under, putting pen to paper right now. That ink would be dried on the contract, and he'd be ready to go for this off-season workout program. Every single player on this team will be getting back together for the first time next week, and the Steelers coddling up to this 42-year-old prima donna has to end now. It's been time. We were willing to just, as a Steelers nation, wait, see if he's going to do some big surprise at the Pat McAfee big night out, come out on stage, have the fans, shower him with, claps and ovations, but that can't happen anymore. The waiting can't happen anymore. The Steelers, you can't afford to wait for this guy to make a decision when you're just about on your way to Latrobe or, God forbid, already there. We can't go any further thinking that Rodgers is going to be the Steelers' starting quarterback and a, good starting quarterback if we go past the draft here next Thursday. Next week's draft is the most important time of the offseason. You're, making decisions that could either move your organization into Super Bowl contention or set them back for the next 5 years. Too important for you to have, Rodgers, maybe I will, maybe I won't be the Steelers quarterback, where you pass on Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart with the idea that Rodgers is going to be your quarterback, and then for him to just pull the rug out from underneath you. The draft just cannot be affected by this one person who will only be there for only a year. So if you're the Steelers, take Shedeur Sanders, take Jackson Dart, regardless of what Rodgers thinks, and move towards the future with one of them rather than hanging on to this past glory in Rodgers. That's at least how I feel, how the rest of you feel. I would be interested in knowing, just to know that whether I'm in the majority or minority here, but, roller coaster of emotions this whole entire off season. Yeah, I want Rodgers to be the quarterback, but now, I like Jackson Dart. He could be an answer for the Steelers. Oh, here comes Rodgers. This is finally going to get done last Wednesday. Oh, well, that passed. Now here comes Shedeur Sanders falling into the Steelers' laps. Just headache, roller coaster of emotions. At least we'll finally get an answer to the draft portion of this whole whirlwind off season on Thursday. I hope you all join me back here on Thursday night for the first round of the draft. I'll be live. Got working on my draft board right now by position. A lot of people that I want the Steelers to take in this draft, but as it pertains to Rodgers, hope to get an idea of what all of you think. Going to take a moment to take a quick stroll here through Twitter. Not seeing anything new as it pertains to news here this evening. Just Sanders falling to the Steelers at 21 seems very realistic. Now Pittsburgh or the Penguins, hit all the other two teams except for the one I needed. The Pirates game, they not sure if they still have the tarp on the field or not, but there was the tarp on the field. Know some rain's been on and off in my neck of the woods today. Wonder if Pittsburgh is going to get the game started on time. I don't think there's any way that they don't. Here we go. Tiny bit of breaking news for the Steelers. Let me get the graphic here. So the Steelers have re-signed offensive guard Max Sharping to a 1-year contract. Minor signing, might make the team, might, just be a camp body. He came over midway through the season, I believe former Bengal and Houston Texans. So Steelers, at least to go along with Spencer Anderson, have at least another warm body behind Isaac Seumalo and Mason McCormick on the offensive line. So welcome back to the team, Max Sharping. Not really much to get into detail on that other than that. So okay, going to move along here now to the last Steeler segment that I have today, talking about more pre-draft visits. And actually, we are just about at the end of the road. So today, Steelers had only 2 pre-draft visits in the building at their facility on the south side, and both visitors were running back. I'm going to begin with the sexier of the 2 running backs who were in the building today, and that is Ohio State running back Trevion Henderson. Going to go to my pre-draft scouting report on him here. So Henderson, 22 years old, from Hopewell, Virginia, 5'10", 210. That is about the average size of the running backs that the Steelers are bringing in for these pre-draft visits. So something's telling me that they want to get a guy who's got a lot of burst and is in the similar body mold of their 2 current running backs in Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Henderson got a little bit of burst to him, ran a 4.43 40. At Ohio State, really a split backfield with Quinshon Judkins, who is my number 3 running back on my board. Henderson, number 4. Still on just 144 carries, ran for just over 1,000 yards, had 10 rushing touchdowns, also caught the ball 27 times, and had a receiving touchdown as well. Last year, 3rd team All Big Ten, and of course won the national championship with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Some of his player comps here: Aaron Jones and Tyjae Spears, 2 NFL solidified running backs there as his player comps. Like I said, got good 0 to 100 speed and got the quick feet and agility to make tacklers miss, soft hands to be a dependable receiving back. And one thing that I'm sure the Steelers moved him high up their draft boards here: ball security, just 1 career fumble lost and no fumbles in the last 3 years. So ball security, his biggest strength, and one of the biggest attributes that the Steelers love to see in a running back. Also, Henderson, just like Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe, and maybe a couple of other prospects that are slipping my mind right now, he is a triple crowned meter with the Steelers, MEETER. he met with head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan in a formal meeting at the scouting combine back in February. Met with them the night before his pro day with Ohio State just a couple of weeks ago, and now is a top 30 pre-draft visitor at the Steelers facility. The second of the two visits today was UCF running back RJ Harvey. Give me 1 second here to find him on my list. RJ Harvey, he is the 23rd ranked running back in my pre-draft scouting list. 24 years old, from Disney World, Orlando, Florida. Smaller than Henderson, 5'8", 208, but still a smaller back with great speed, a 4.4 flat 40. Played in 12 games this past year at the University of Central Florida. 232 carries, over 1,500 yards, 22 rushing touchdowns. Also had 3 receiving touchdowns as well, so he lit it up down there at UCF. Past year, third-team AP All-American, and was a 2024 first-teamer in the All-Big 12. Player comps for him, Duke Johnson, former NFL running back and current running back. I believe he's still with the Baltimore Ravens, Keaton Mitchell. Loves heavy workloads and wearing down defenders by running through them. That's one of the pros that I have on him, so willing to be a bell cow, also has good vision and change of direction to all gaps and to find an open lane. Does have some limited burst and overall speed. You saw his top speed, 440. He plays a little bit slower than that. Needs to quicken his decision-making, see hole, hit hole, and his willingness to pass block. He does have the willingness to pass block, I should say, but he lacks the weight and the physical traits to hold up in that. So, two solid running back prospects for the Steelers to have in their building today. With those two in Pittsburgh, they make 29 of the Steelers' top 30 pre-draft visits now completed, with one more, as I said earlier, still to go, which has already been reported. That will be Toledo defensive tackle Darius Alexander. Presuming that Alexander's visit will be completed here in the coming days. Out of the 30 pre-draft visits with the Steelers and the 4 local visits as well, 9 of those visits were with running backs, 10 of those were with defensive linemen, and 3 were with quarterbacks. Instead of sitting here and going through every single name on the list, potential first-round picks out of those visits, 2 quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart from Mississippi, 2 running backs, Omarion Hampton from North Carolina and Trevion Henderson, 1 wide receiver, that is Matthew Golden from Texas, 3 defensive linemen, 2 defensive tackles, those being Derek Harmon from Oregon, and Darius Alexander from Toledo, as well as edge rusher / outside linebacker Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, and 2 defensive backs, corner Trey Amos from Mississippi. He's sort of a fringe first rounder at this point, and South Carolina safety Nick Amenwari, who is pretty much if DK Metcalf was a defensive back. There are also some other top prospects that have been linked to the Steelers a bunch in this pre-draft process, like Mississippi defensive tackle Walter Nolan, Michigan defensive tackle Kenneth Grant, and Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka, who did not visit. But, ladies and gentlemen, do not let that fool you that if those players are available at 21, that the Steelers won't draft them. Just because they didn't visit doesn't mean that the Steelers would sprint to the podium to make that pick. So, that now wraps up the pre-draft visit portion. I'll probably talk about this a little bit more when Darius Alexander's visit is done here in the coming weeks. But, just I'm interested in hearing what all of you have to think about this list, and if there was one prospect in particular that you think the Steelers should have met with before next Thursday. Other than that, solid top 30 list. Guys on that list, the Steelers could take all the way from first round through the seventh round and even into undrafted free agency. So next Thursday is almost here, 9 days away. Said it yesterday, I'll say it again, can't come soon enough. Ready for the draft to get underway and for these questions to finally have answers. Going to take a quick stroll here, see if there's any other news. Already had a bit of breaking news in Max Sharping re-upping with the Steelers just a couple of minutes ago. How about this? Football is happening. The Pat McAfee Show draft spectacular will be live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So the Pat McAfee Show will be in Green Bay for the NFL draft on Thursday, April 24th at 8 p.m. McAfee, Darius Butler, Boston Connor, Tone Diggs, AJ Hawk, and Ty Schmidt will be there in person. So the Pat McAfee Draft Spectacular will be making a return. Okay, gonna switch gears now over to some Pittsburgh Pirates talk. Real quick, got a comment in the chat. Hey, dude, Ravens own you. What are the thoughts on that? Congratulations. You beat us last year, but before that, we owned Lamar. And when you lose to Kenny Pickett and Kenny Pickett's undefeated against your franchise, I don't think you have any room to talk on that. So just wait. We'll be back. Even at our worst right now, where we're stuck in the middle, debating whether Aaron Rodgers or Shedeur Sanders is going to be our quarterback. You guys still have a tough time beating us. Thank you for Patrick Queen. And yeah, done with that. Goodbye. Like I said, before I was interrupted there by the Jag-off, switching gears over to the Pittsburgh Pirates, they seem to have regained a certain mojo. Last night, the Pirates defeated the Washington Nationals in their series opener 10-3 and didn't completely suck for once when Paul Skeens got the start. They've been notorious for when Skeens is on the mound, the bats, which already are crappy as is, seem to find a new low of production. And it looked like the game was going to go badly right off the start. Andy Rodriguez took a pitch that hit the batter's foot and then ricocheted and hit him in his throwing hand. He left the game, got stitches, and is now on the IR. Right-handed pitcher Chase Shugart just got recalled today, so Andy will be out for a little bit. However, bravo to Henry Davis, who came in relief, went out there, was like ready to go immediately, did 2 warm-up throws back to Skeens and just hopped right into the fire. Did a hell of a job too, in my opinion. And he and Skeens actually made history last night. They became the first ever pitcher-catcher battery of first overall picks in MLB history. So even when he doesn't mean to do that, congratulations to Skeens and Hank on setting records. Let me scroll here back to where I left off. Catcher Abraham Gutierrez, he also has a locker in PNC Park right now. He may be getting recalled, or, if he's a taxi squad guy, because now Davis with Andy going to the IL and Joey Bart, who We don't know if he's coming back soon or not. Hank is really the only fully operational catcher at the moment. Yeah, so Henry, he goes to the IL. Skeens pitched well, 6 innings, 3 hits, only 1 earned run, struck out 6. The Bucks bats lit it up. They had, I believe, not sure how much many hits that they had off the top of my head, but they scored 10 runs last night, which equals their total amount of hits in their last series, their weekend series against the Cincinnati Reds. Also, gasp, something that we've been harping on them for years now, their inability to hit with runners in scoring positions. They were 8 for 8 last night with runners in scoring position. So, and now they, Joe Block, Pirates broadcaster, said that they now lead the MLB batting .297 with runners in scoring position this season. It's early, and I'm sure because they're still, I think, the worst team in the MLB in terms of team batting percentage. They haven't had many chances to get runners in scoring positions, but hey, at least they're knocking them in when they eventually do get them there. Andrew McCutchen, right field last night, came through with some good hitting and plate appearances, also played in right field, made a diving catch, and still got it. And he may have made that catch for a specific reason. He got himself and the rest of the team those Fiton nylon necklaces that used to be very, very popular back in the early and mid 2010s. I had one when I was playing baseball growing up. Those things are sick. That necklace is either long gone or somewhere all worn down. But those necklaces, they must have a little bit of power in them. They did something right with the Bucks putting on that performance. And yeah, hopefully that they're wearing those necklaces again tonight. It is Jackie Robinson Day, so you'll see everyone wearing the blue 42s on the back of their jerseys. Bucks game, haven't seen anything that it's going to start in a delay yet. They did have the tarp on the field. Lineup tonight, O'Neal Cruz again batting leadoff, like him in the leadoff role, better than batting in the 3-hole. He'll be in center field. Brian Reynolds, status quo, batting second, designated hitter. Ke'Bryan Hayes back in the lineup. He was in the lineup last night, actually. I was thinking 2 games ago. Batting third, playing third base. And Manuel Valdez had a good couple of hits, but please quit making boneheaded plays on the field and running the bases. He'll bat fourth again. Jack Suwinski in there tonight in left field. Tommy Pham in right. Adam Frazier at second base. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at short. And, of course, the last standing catcher, Henry Davis, batting ninth. So, no Andrew McCutchen. Derek Shelton needs fired. Cutchen, shout out Bob Smizak, who I think used to cover the Bucks as a beat reporter. McCutchen is second on the Pirates in on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS, the kind of guy that you want in the lineup. Last night, Kutch said that he wants to play every game if he could. This may actually be his last season in the MLB, so he'll want to give it everything he's got. And, of course, Derek Shelton sits him tonight for Tommy fantastically bad, and Jack Suwinski, who, leads the team in strikeouts. Don't get why we're sitting Kutch every other game. You have to have him in there with his bat. He's going to be your most professional at bat. And at 38 years old, if you're putting in Tommy Pham and Jack Suwinski over him, really, is a bad sign that Kutch is your most irreplaceable hitter right now in year 6 of this Cherington-Shelton regime. So go figure. No Andrew McCutchen tonight. Wouldn't be shocked if he comes in later in the evening in sort of a pinch hit role, but we'll have to see if that actually becomes reality. Beauty, so what's your quarterback room looking like? Looking a bit empty. Oh, don't worry. We got goatee goat Mason Rudolph, who actually beat you guys 2 years ago in the rain, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got some success against you guys. Ravens run the league. That's hilarious. Love to see where, you guys have a dynamic quarterback in Lamar. I'm not going to deny you that, but, where's his Super Bowl ring? You guys, if you were actually did run the league, would have 2 or 3 of them with him right now. But then again, you're always going to be second fiddle to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. LOL, the Pirates are comically awful. Orioles run the league as the year goes on. Congratulations. Orioles are better than the Pirates. I actually agree with you. Pirates are comically awful. So I'm not going to refute that. Orioles, though, don't you guys kind of have to beat the Yankees and Red Sox and Blue Jays? So I'd say you guys are more on the downside in that division than the uptick. But I know one thing that you cannot bash me about, because Maryland does not have a hockey team. That is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Last big segment that I have for tonight's show. Season coming to an end. Penn's got one more game to go on Thursday night, but we do have a little bit of celebrating to do, and that is Sidney Crosby still being the GOAT and the best hockey player in the world right now. This coming from the NHL Players Association this morning. No question as what the Penguins, no question that the Penguins cap can do it all. For the in his 20th NHL season, Sidney Crosby was voted on by the players as the most complete player in the NHL. 33.81% of the players voted Crosby as the most complete player. Alexander Barkov coming in at a close second at 30%, and beyond that, you got other players, in the single-digit percentages. So congrats, Sid. Most complete player still. That's been your calling card all your career. Also, Sid was voted the smartest overall player in the NHL, beating out Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning, 27% to 24%. And also, when the question is asked, if you need to win a faceoff, who would you pick? NHL players picked Crosby in a pretty decent-sized win, 20% over the next guy on the list, Ryan O'Reilly of the Nashville Predators, at 20%. So Crosby, still the GOAT, still the best all-around player in the NHL. Also, congratulations to first-year Penguins player in Kevin Hayes, who, as this question was asked by the NHLPA, who would be a good broadcaster once they retire? 4.85% of the league. First place said Kevin Hayes would. Also, Hayes, much bigger honor here. He is going to be the Penguins' King Clancy Award nominee for this year. Penguins posted just 5 hours ago. Kevin Hayes honors first responders at every Penguins home game through his initiative, Hayes' Heroes, to recognize the sacrifices and efforts they make for the community. So congratulations to Kevin Hayes. Hope you make it. Looking at the rest of the list here of King Clancy Memorial Award nominees. The King Clancy Memorial Award, as said here by the NHL, given to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made noteworthy humanitarian contributions in his community. Don't think I see any other former Penguins on this list. Oh, one there, Frederick Gaudreau, who was here for a year for the Minnesota Wild. Jordan Stahl, another here for the Carolina Hurricanes. So 3 Penguins, at least from, just skimming through the list here, with the chance to take home the King Clancy Memorial Award this year. Also, just going to get this out of the way, let me just hit on some other loose storylines here today. Not many like yesterday. We talked about all show long Shedeur Sanders possibly being an answer for the Steelers. He and Travis Hunter's numbers are going to be retired by the Colorado Buffaloes before their spring game coming up kind of early. Interested to hear what you think about their numbers getting retired already. I mean, they haven't even been drafted yet. So, pretty odd there if you ask me. Also, Mark Caboli here having some fun and really just shutting down all rumors and worries about this. Tweeting yesterday, source, Steelers are not trading TJ Watt. What's the source? Common sense. He's going to get paid. Do not sweat, ladies and gentlemen. Going to do what he normally does, probably sign it in Latrobe and then immediately go out on the field and bust his ass, working harder than each and every person out there. Also, I saw this, not Steelers related. Nick Chubb posted a video, him back in the weight room squatting 500 pounds. So obviously showing his health with his knee. And if the Steelers don't come out of the draft with a running back that they are in love with, may give a call to one of those running backs out there like Nick Chubb. Going to take one more quick stroll through Twitter here, see if there's any new news. Will Howard, Ohio State quarterback, saying that NFL teams that pass on drafting him will regret it. So showing some moxie there. Mel Kiper and Field Yates' latest 3-round mock draft. He has the Steelers selecting Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, with the 21st overall pick. Love that. Cam Hayward Jr., in my opinion. Also has the Steelers trading back in the 3rd round, trading up, trading pick 83 and a 2026 3rd round pick. Could do that, honestly. You got a good bit of 3rd round comp picks coming your way for Las Vegas Raiders, pick number 68, and taking Jalen Milroe, quarterback, Alabama. I could live with that first 2 days of the NFL draft. Love that very, 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 very more. Let's go back to Henny. Thanks for being a good sport. Subbed. Good luck to your teams. Hey, good luck to you, man. I mean, hey, as much as Henny, you and I, you Baltimore fan, me Steelers fan, we can go back and forth. We can go, little barbs and jabs, hate each other's teams, but hey, there's a respect there, and I respect that you respect that as well. And at the end of the day, Henny, don't tell anybody. At the end of the day, whether it's you, whether it's us, one of us are going to be at the top of the division, each and every other year. The Bengals and the Browns, they're beneath us. We run the North. So just leaving it there, Henny. Thank you for the subscription as well. Appreciate it, man. And with that, I'm going to log off for the night. Appreciate you all joining me here this evening. Gonna go watch the Bucks. Mitch Keller on the bump tonight. So, and hopefully the Phylon necklaces, or Fitton necklaces, the Fitton necklaces, they made a big comeback. Hopefully there's still some more magic in those tonight. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Henny, for subscribing me. Go check out my other content. Thank you all for blowing up my video once again from the Pat McAfee Big Night Out. That's doing great numbers. Got I think around 20, 30 new subscribers off of that video alone. Also got some good likes on there. So thank you very, very much. Thank you, Henny, for subscribing and being a good sport. No matter whether it's the Steelers or the Ravens, we run the North at the end of the day. With that, thank you all. Have a good night. Like, share, and comment on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. And I will see you guys back here around the same time for some more Pittsburgh sports news. Have a good night. Peace.